What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jimmy Talks. All right, let's get into some urban combat methods and techniques I'd use during SHTF or in any war zone scenario that is predominantly an urban environment. I'll focus on practical and realistic strategies to navigate this challenging environment. Urban warfare differs significantly from open field, rural, and even suburban combat zones. Cities have a lot more buildings to start off with, as well as streets and potential civilian presence, creating a complex battle environment. This brings me to tip number one. Avoid the streets whenever possible, as they expose you to enemy fire from multiple angles, both vertically and horizontally. Picture in your head, you're patrolling on a street, and your enemy decides to engage you on the street level, so 12 o'clock, and they're on the same level as you are, height-wise. But then in a multi-story building next to you, the enemy has posted positions on the third floor. Now they can definitely kill you a lot easier with the overhead advantage and the distraction of the engagement at your 12 o'clock, aka a frontal position, aka, again, right in front of you. If any of you have played Tarkov and you played the map Streets or Ground Zero, you can obviously understand why having the high ground is pretty significant. That's just a video game example so that I can help you familiarize yourself with the concept. So this brings me on to point number two. If you can, try to move through buildings using their interiors for cover and to maintain control over your position. Once you're inside a building, say an apartment block, you can then traverse through the walls and move even more using sledgehammers and explosives, as well as willpower and grit. This can help you avoid the streets, but the downside to that is that it's tiring. Hitting a sledgehammer, demo, construction work, it's always tiring, but it works and it'll keep you safe. So if it's tiring, I'm probably going to do it. I'd rather do something that's tiring than die. So most walls are just crappy drywall anyways. But moving through buildings also makes it easier to protect yourself from suicide drone attacks. We've seen this many times in Ukraine. Guys will put up very thick and heavy carpets in trenches when they make rooms to kind of acting as a door. They'll also do this in urban environments. It can stop a drone if the carpet's heavy enough. So this maneuver requires careful planning and coordination, though, which I'd prioritize from the start. More on that later. Communications via radio and communication security are super important so the enemy doesn't listen in on you. But that's a whole other complex topic, and I meant to say that to go hand in hand with coordination. But I'm not well versed enough in radios and ComSec to give comment on that. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. All right, now here's point number three. Avoid the fatal funnel. One key concept is treating doors as massive danger zones, often called the fatal funnel. Sometimes you just gotta breach the door anyways. So when conducting a breach on a building, you just expect someone to die or become wounded every single time you kick a door down and move a team through it. It's pretty grim, but it's the reality of fatal funnels, and especially urban warfare. Fatal funnels earn their nickname for a reason, so entering through a door can make you an easy target. So if I was on the defender side, meaning I was the one defending the fatal funnel, instead of the attacker side, I position and aim all of my weapons to cover these entry points and maximize my defensive capability. This brings me on to point number four. Barricade doors with furniture, chairs, or even booby traps from the inside. The point of this is to create an illusion of an open path, meaning they won't know that the door isn't even blocked off on the inside until they get in. It's meant to slow advance and give me ample time to kill every single one in that doorway. More time for me as the defender gives me more time to attack them. So, yeah, I'd also lay traps in here for extra lethality. I did kind of mention that earlier already. But all right, point number five. Stairways are a critical kill zone. If you're at the top of the stairway in a defender position, I'd block them with any available material that you have on hand to hinder enemy movement. Think of concertina wire, which is barbed wire, if you have it, or even just random furniture like couches, tables, chairs, and the like. Big pieces of rubble, who knows, whatever you've got. I'd keep grenades ready at the top of the stairs. Grenades are super useful, using them to destroy anyone on the stairs and at the bottom of them as well. After throwing the grenade, and when it explodes, I'd move down the stairs quickly to engage any remaining threats. And they're pretty disoriented and panicked after being stuck in a tiny funnel after a grenade just blew them off. So make sure your magazines are always topped off whenever you get a chance, especially if you're going to go down there and mop up the mess. Besides that, the enemy may rapidly advance up the stairs if a grenade goes rolling downwards. So again, mags are always topped off, blast them away. All right, number 6, create small holes in the floor of the building you're occupying to fire into the rooms below. This allows you to address threats from above, taking advantage of the fact that people often overlook vertical angles, especially when they're breaching a building. People will usually look straight ahead and won't check upwards until last. I'd make these holes discreetly and use them sparingly to avoid revealing my position. It requires a general understanding of the building's layout. You can make these holes with sledgehammers, chainsaws, explosives, stuff like that. It's super valuable to have a guy on your team that's the engineer. Pretty much think of, in the civilian world, the firefighter. They can get into anything with a chainsaw, crowbar, sledgehammer, stuff like that. You need a guy that can destroy stuff. It's super valuable. Next up, number 7, for close quarter situations, always carry a knife, always carry a spade, which is an e-tool in this context, or a club, just something to beat someone with as backup. So these tools are practical in tight spaces where rifles might be less wieldy, or someone just runs up on you and you don't even expect it, and now you're fighting over the gun, especially if ammo is also limited. When you use a lot of ammo in a gunfight, contrary to popular belief, when you see guys with kits with 3-4 mags on them, Met TC dictates what you should be carrying, but I digress. If you're in a large scale operation like this, let's just say like Fallujah, for example, you're going to want a lot of ammo. So these tools, the up close, like the beating hammer sticks, whatever you want to call it, they provide a reliable means of self-defense up close. And yes, it is possible to be getting up in someone's face like this, especially in an urban environment where you can be in close proximity with other human beings, whether they're friendly or not. The reality is you may need to beat someone with a shovel, or punch it out with your fist, or headbutt them with your helmet against their head. So, like I said, it's a grim reality. When I started this video, I said that. So, number 8, never fire from the same window twice to prevent giving away your location, if you can. It can also be used as a fear tactic to fire one singular shot, as the psychological threat of a sniper will be imposed on your enemy. Next up, number 9, shoot from deep inside rooms to reduce muzzle flash and the noise of the rifle firing, making it harder for the enemy to find you. This coincides with point number 10. Keep the rifle's barrel inside if you're firing from inside to an outside position. So again, this minimizes barrel flash, and it also can prevent dust kick up from the windowsill, just making it easier to find you. Number 11, don't stay in one place for too long. Mobility is crucial for survival. Staying in one spot too long makes you vulnerable, as the enemy can plan attacks on you longer and gather more intel on you. So keep moving after each engagement. If you can place an accurate shot, relocate as soon as possible. Using sewers or subways for movement is an option, but only if you've studied the area's underground routes beforehand. Number 12, snipers pose a significant threat. If a sniper gets the drop on you, you need to use buildings to break their line of sight and work with your team to locate the sniper's position. More on that later when I get to tracer rounds. So once identified, you need to plan a careful counter sniper plan to neutralize the threat. Next up, number 13, if you wound an enemy, don't kill him. If you wound an enemy, or even just find a wounded guy through your sights down the streets, try to let the bad guys remove them from the fight, as this might take 4 guns out of the fight, 4 enemies out of the fight to carry out the injured. This means there's 4 less guns aimed at you, and you need every chance you can get to live. This coincides with my next one, number 14. For the guys getting the wounded one, shoot the 4 guys going after the wounded guy. This is extremely demoralizing, as they can't evacuate their wounded out of the zone now, or pick up their supplies and their ammo and their magazines and their medical supplies. Number 15, keep a lot of carbs and sugar snacks on you. This will boost your energy. Soldiering is extremely tiring both mentally and physically. You might not be sleeping for more than 24 hours. So get used to it, and don't forget to hydrate. One of the first things I learned from a more senior guy than I during rucks, whenever we pause to take a security break, security pause and a water top off break, rehydrate, get some snacks in. This guy told me that you should eat the carbs first. Eat the nice snacks out of the MRE. This is going to get you a quick energy boost when you need it the most. So, very big fan of the lemon poppy seed cake, something like that. I have the picture up on there. But anyways, number 16, grenades are an extremely valuable asset. I'd keep them fully stocked and positioned for quick use, following up any throw with immediate action to engage survivors who are disoriented. This goes back to my stairwell tip, if you remember. This ensures maximum impact on the enemy. It's not just a grenade explosion, because now you're following up for the kill. Be wary of using grenades indoors, though, as it makes it extremely dusty inside of buildings and hard to see, even with weapon-mounted lights. You can see this yourself on police shooting videos. When they start getting into a gunfight inside, it starts getting real dusty in there. So you can take that with just gunfire. Now imagine a grenade. It's going to do it just as much, if not more. So number 17, during the nighttime, leverage the darkness for concealment, moving quietly if at all possible, and using deep room firing positions. This nighttime plus shooting deep inside of a room, you're going to smoke someone. So coordination with the team would rely on hand signals to maintain as much silence as possible. Not all the time, but it is a trick up the sleeve, as one could say. Moving at night tends to be safer due to less visibility, obviously. This is where night vision units and laser aiming modules excel, but be wary of using infrared lights and lasers, as your enemy can have night vision capabilities as well. And you'll have just effed yourself and shown where you're going. So if you're caught in a vulnerable position and you are spotted because of your lack of light discipline, you're dead. Simple as that. Number 18, carry a full mag of tracer rounds. So carry tracer rounds for specific purposes, like marking targets. He's in that building. Like, which one? The one over there. You've all had, playing video games, had a call out like that. I'm like, cool, thanks, dude. That tells me nothing. And in real life, it's even worse, because this is not a game. You can just see black forever. You have no idea what happened. So use tracers for marking targets, but use them sparingly to avoid detection, as the enemy can just follow easily where the tracer came from. Normally, you'd carry every 5th round as a tracer, but me personally, I would just use a specific mag of tracers, as I need to mark targets like sniper positions and such. And after you fire that tracer, immediately relocate to somewhere else, as your position has been given away, and you won't know it. I can't emphasize this enough. If you give away your own position, you might as well have just signed your own death certificate. You can kind of see how a lot of tips here are based off getting the first shot in, or in the first big advantage, getting the first one, as this will usually dictate the outcome of the fight. Not all the time, but it can have a big chance on whether you live or die. This term specifically is called ceasing the initiative. Super important to do this. Number 19, and this may seem obvious, but let friendly forces know your location. Blue on blue, aka friendly fire, is extremely easy to do in the heat of the moment, and there's many examples of this happening in real life. If you don't know who Pat Tillman is, just Google it. Anyways, it's why you'll see in Ukraine Russian soldiers using white armbands and Ukrainian soldiers using yellow or blue armbands. It's for quick PID, known as positive identification. Number 20, and my final one, which I did mention earlier but didn't elaborate on. One well-fired shot can hold up a large group of people, like I said earlier, with the psychological impact of a sniper. So you don't have to be a sniper to do this, but making the enemy think that there is one and he's watching them creates a massive fear advantage, and it can hold a lot of people up because they don't want to leave their position. It can buy you a lot of time. So to summarize on all this, urban combat requires adaptability, like being able to know when and where to vacate buildings and when to conduct ambushes, preparation, such as having enough ammo, explosives, and food and water, and teamwork, with movement and communication being the biggest examples. By avoiding streets, securing key areas like overhead advantages, and managing resources, you can enhance your combat effectiveness, and your squad can become a force multiplier. guys, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below on any further tips you'd like to share. Like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments as well if you want more tactics videos. Jimmy Talks out.